Let's talk about the biggest projects humanity takes on. I mean, think about it. Sprawling energy plants, massive transit systems, the very infrastructure that powers our cities. As these projects get bigger and more global, with teams and vendors from all over the world, they all hit one single critical challenge: managing all that complexity.
So what is it? What's the one thing that connects every single one of these massive undertakings, whether it's a new airport or a national power grid? Beyond all the concrete and steel, there's one common thread that ties them all together.
And there it is, a ridiculously high degree of risk. You know, the more moving parts, the more people involved, the greater the chance something goes spectacularly wrong. And it's that reality, that high-stakes environment, that has given rise to a whole discipline designed to manage this chaos.
So where does all this risk really come from? I mean, is it faulty equipment, bad engineering? Yeah, sometimes. But you know, more often than not, the biggest dangers and the most expensive mistakes, they stem from something much more basic: a simple breakdown in communication and coordination.
And when things go wrong here, we're not talking about minor hiccups. A single miscommunication can set off a domino effect, leading to absolutely catastrophic delays. Budgets can just spiral out of control, and you might even end up with a lower quality building or system that's just plagued with problems for years. I mean, the stakes are just immense. This slide right here really gets to the heart of it. On a small, simple project, sure, you might get away with using a basic spreadsheet to track things. But on a mega project, that's like trying to navigate an ocean in a rowboat. It's just not going to work. When you've got vendors scattered all across the globe, you need a seriously controlled, professional communication environment. The old ways just don't cut it anymore.
Okay, so if spreadsheets are out, what's the answer? Well, it's not just about trying harder. It's about having a formal system, a real framework, that's designed to turn the chaos of miscommunication into a clear, orderly, and manageable process.
And that system is called Interface Management, or IM for short. Now, the definition here is really important. This isn't just about managing a flood of emails. No way. It's about systematically managing the communications, the relationships, and, crucially, the actual deliverables that have to pass between every single party involved in the project.
Probably the best way to think about it is to picture a bridge. That's what interface management does. It literally builds a bridge connecting every contractor, every supplier, and every engineering team. It makes sure everyone is working from the same blueprints and moving in the same direction. And it stops all those different teams from becoming isolated islands.
All right, so we get it. We need this bridge. But how do you actually build it? This isn't just some vague idea. It's a real, tangible framework with a very clear structure.
It all works in a pretty straightforward hierarchy. First, you identify your interface stakeholders, all the different companies involved. Then, anywhere they need to interact, you define an interface point. And this is the key part. Each one of those points is then governed by a formal interface agreement.
And this right here, this is the bedrock of the entire system. An interface agreement, or IA, is not a casual handshake or a quick email. It's a formal document. It spells out, in no uncertain terms, exactly what deliverables one party needs from another to get their job done. It completely removes any ambiguity and creates a clear, trackable record of who is responsible for what and by when.
Now, what's really cool is that this isn't just some good idea in theory. The value of putting a formal interface management system in place has actually been studied and proven. Its benefits are real, and they are significant.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Research from the Construction Industry Institute has looked into this, and they've highlighted 3 massive benefits that come from implementing a formal IAM system. First up, alignment. A formal IAM process gets everybody on the same page. It's as simple as that. Instead of different teams working in their own little silos, everyone shares a common understanding of the goals, the deadlines, and the big picture. It basically transforms a random collection of contractors into a single, coordinated team. The second benefit is, no surprise here, communication. This is absolutely the key to success, especially on these giant global projects where you're dealing with different cultures and languages. IITM creates a formal framework, so it's not just that you communicate, but how you do it. Everyone knows exactly what info to share, who they need to share it with, and when it has to be delivered.
And finally, there's visibility. A good ISM system gives you a single source of truth for the entire project. Everyone, and I mean everyone, gets real-time global visibility into what's going on.
Nobody's left in the dark, which means teams can spot potential problems early and manage risk proactively, instead of just reacting to fires after they've started.
So let's just tie this all together. Mega projects come with immense risk, and a lot of that risk comes from plain old miscommunication. Interface management gives you a structured solution, that bridge we talked about, that guarantees alignment, clear communication, and total visibility. And the result? It's exactly what every project owner wants. Fewer delays, lower costs, and a much higher quality asset at the end of the day.
So it really leaves us with one final thought. In today's incredibly complex world, just hoping for good communication, well, that isn't a strategy. You have to design for it. You have to build it into the DNA of the project. Which makes you wonder, right? Is your project's communication just happening by chance, or is it actually built to last?